Good morning, Dennis.
Good evening, Mashi. Slightly different evening now, though, because daylight savings happened for me and it didn't happen for you, and it screwed up my timing of when we were supposed to record.
And you overshot the correction too. You're like, oh my God, it's 10. I'm like, no, it's still 9.
Yeah, you were still, I thought you were up. I thought you were up, like really stressed about Zoom meetings at 8 a.m. your time, but no, they just daylight savings. It happened.
Yeah, well, I just got back from Vegas. It was a huge magic event. You know that. I opened a $40,000 box of Legends.
Spicy.
Hit a Tabernacle, hit an Abyss, wow, our audience has no idea what we're talking about. Nether
But
Void.
if they did, Mashi, where would they go to watch you break even more special expensive product?
Whatnot, the app Whatnot. You could Card Shop Live _magic, Card Shop Live _rips.
Is there a generic Rips channel?
Yep, that's the sports one.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm on like 6 days a week. Which, all of Whatnot came about as a pipe dream, CFB box breaks with Channel Fireball.
I remember.
Now it's Card Shop Live president and CEO John Sasso. And now it's a huge driver of the business.
John was very much ahead of his time on box breaks. I would say even a couple months too early. Because I remember when I used to work there, we were trying to convince this whole thing. I remember seeing like the proof of concept product on the website and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't understand how people are going to go for this. And for the first while, people weren't really going for it, but he was just early adopter.
Yep. He was too early. You're exactly right. And that's one of the real strengths that John has, I think, is he's always at the forefront of this stuff. He has a passion for it, and it speaks to his agility. You and I are very agile, and it calls to mind one of my favorite quotes. And I think I've said this to you a few times. I oft quote it. It's from one of our greatest modern poets, Dennis.
Ooh.
Very mainstream, has a one-man show on Broadway, or did have a one-man show on Broadway, even had a video game named after him. Mike Tyson. That's right. Mike Tyson.
Did have a one-man show on Broadway. Punch Out makes more sense to me than the one-man show, by the way.
Than the one-man show. Mike Tyson had a great quote, which was, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is actually, this is a Tyson-esque interpretation of an old, I want to say Moltke the Elder, a German commander, about no battle plan survives contact with
the enemy, right? It's the same thing. It's all it's really just like a combative version of the best laid plans of mice and men off go awry, right? It's the same deal.
It is, but this, I think, the oft go awry is kind of like shit happens.
That's a little bit like, the dice of fate, but like, yeah. Whereas the other two are more about focusing, like you said, on agility.
Exactly. And Moltke, I hope I'm saying that right, I'm sure I'm not, was known for, here's plan A, here's backup plan B, backup plan C, backup plan D, And I think Tyson was probably a little bit more in the Mashi Denis vein, which is you get punched in the mouth and you figure it out. You have a plan, you get punched in the mouth, and that's going to change your plan. The most important part of the plan, and I think this rides through from the best laid plans of mice and men, through no battle plan survives contact with the enemy, through Tyson's getting punched in the mouth, is you had that plan, and that plan had a goal. Even when you get punched in the mouth, you have to fight for that goal. But you don't keep doing the same damn thing. You've got to be agile. You're getting punched in the mouth now. And every business goes to this. And I've talked to this when I was quoting Milton to Rain in Hell. This is really, I think, the entrepreneur mantra. One of the things I feel that heavy corporate structure, and it's been well over a decade since I've been in a very corporate company, struggles from, is adapting to getting punched in the mouth. It's, let's try to do the same thing. Oh, that didn't work. Let's run it out again. Maybe we'll do a slight tweak, but let's run it out again. I think that where startups have found a lot of strength, where you find innovation, where if you are on the bottom floor of something like box breaks, you can maximize, is you have a plan, you get punched in the mouth, you change, you become agile, you quickly adjust to getting punched in the mouth, but you still pursue the same goal because that was the original plan. The goals of that plan are still in place.
It's very interesting to me that you described yourself as being in a very sort of corporate position for the past decade, having moved from a leaner, smaller company like Channel Fireball to working for PokerStars and Flutter, which are massive, multinational corporations, there is huge effort in these big companies looking at, seeking out agile transformation. They will outsource agile coaches, like Flutter and PokerStars have agile coaches, and especially in software development, in an attempt to take that startup stick and move attitude and plug it into a much larger organization. And there's huge amounts of documentation. If you Google agile transformation now, first of all, you get a lot of people trying to sell it to you. Second of all, you get a lot of information about it. And it's this idea that delivering from a software perspective, frequent updates and new features, but from an anything perspective, delivering frequent products and launching things is much more important than making sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, everything's documented perfectly. Because the larger an organization is, the more easy it is to fall into that trap of making sure you follow the right channels and do everything, yada, yada, which, makes you less able to deal with getting punched in the face.
I think the updates speak to a different thing to me as a consumer as well. It's like, sometimes they put a little something in medicine to make it taste bad, and doesn't do anything, doesn't make it more efficacious, doesn't do anything like that, but it doesn't taste good. Medicine should taste medicinal. Yeah, exactly. As consumers, we take that, we go, oh, okay, that must mean it's working. It's like this is before your time. There was this shampoo company called Denerex, and they'd have these commercials where it's like, oh, it's tingling. And someone would go, that means it's working, right? You need that sensation. Those constant updates are telling me, oh, there is a room full of monkeys panning out software updates right now. They're not working, but they update like every day. So I'm sure tomorrow's update will fix it, right? I think there's a psychological element to it. I think large companies, and maybe there's a future quote that's just Newton on inertia, right? Yep. An object's tendency to remain in its current state of motion. Big companies and small companies are the same. We suffer from too many things. Let's jump to grading. Let's jump to CSL. Let's jump to box breaks. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing everything. Every executive meeting that I ever was at Channel Fireball was always Ryan always telling John, you get to pick 2. I know you have 8 things you want to do. I need you to pick 2 and we'll do those, which is the exact opposite. You're right. Well, and it's not that the funny thing is there's one interpretation of that, which is like, dadgummit, Dennis, you have 8 things on your list and we always end up doing the top 3 anyway, right? That is not how it works here. We will do all 8. We will get halfway through all 8. We will exhaust ourselves. We will run ourselves into the ground. That's funny. By focusing so hard on agility and on hedging and on getting as many irons in the fire as you can, you end up not launching anything. Absolutely. Or even worse, Dennis, I wish we didn't launch anything. You half-ass launch many things. Half-ass launch many things. And then all you're doing over and over is you take one and it's getting punched in the mouth. Oh my God, how do we get that right? And you get that right to break even, or you take something else that's being more successful, take the revenue from that, keep this other thing afloat, break even. Yeah. And it's a nightmare. And you say to yourself, I don't understand. So many of these things are going so well, but I still feel like I'm struggling day to day, hour to hour. That's when you're getting punched in the mouth too much and you're no longer being proactive. You've lost the goal, right? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Once you get punched in the mouth, there's a number of things you can do. You can fall apart, lose sight of the plan, and just be like, holy crap, my mouth hurts. You can. Well, that means it's working. You can react completely to getting punched in the mouth and totally lose sight of your plan. You're still engaged, but now you're totally reactive. Now I'm using your plan, because your plan is punch Mashi in the mouth until he does what I want. Until he doesn't have a plan anymore. Yeah. Right. Well, no, if I give up on my plan and all I'm doing is reacting to you punching me, I'm following your plan now. Well, this is very true in businesses where you have large competitors who are competing over the same, like finite businesses, right? Where you're competing over the same customers. If this person does a sale or this person tries some tactic that has a zero-sum effect on the whole market, then you get into this sort of reactionary, well, they discounted 10%, we need to discount 11%. And in that case, the race to the bottom is won by whoever has the biggest coffers to run it as long as possible. But it is important to try and set pace rather than just follow. Have you? Okay, here's an important question. Actually, have you ever been punched? I think you have.
I've been
You've
punched.
been
Yeah.
in fights.
You think I can run my mouth like this and not get punched for 30 years? Are you kidding?
Welcome to the club. you find where that line is by crossing it a few times
Right.
and then realizing, oh, okay, that's the line. My point is this: you get punched. It's invasive. For some reason, when you're younger, it's not. That guy got punched. As an older, I haven't been. No one's laid hands on me since 2005.
I haven't been punched since I was probably north of like 21 or something.
I haven't been punched since my 20s for sure.
Yeah.
In 2005, I almost got into a fight at a bar. Some guy was shoving me.
When you're young, it's like a punchy, like faux machismo, toxic masculinity thing. When you're like 35, it's a bad look.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? So, but here's the key: in business and in a physical confrontation, getting punched, I think psychologically is much scarier and much worse than you think. Getting kicked in the balls as a man is a horrible feeling. It is, but your life doesn't end. It feels like it might for a second, but guess what? Life goes on. So here's the point: when you get punched, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You're going to survive it. Trust me.
The way I would
where
frame
things
that,
are going to totally fall apart. But let me finish this one because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Is I want to go back to the plan. You can't let get punched, getting kicked in the balls, let any of those things completely disrail your original plan. Change, yes. Be agile, yes. But the goals of that plan are still in place. And not only are they still in place, they are still pursuable. So pursue them. Change what you were doing, but pursue that goal nonetheless with a fat lip.
Change the path, not the goal. I think getting punched or corporate headwinds or, negative sales or whatever has to be part of the plan. You don't know what they are or when they're going to come, but it is unrealistic to think you're going to achieve your goal with no, obstructions.
Well, I think that's always the case. The whole, and obviously, I think Tyson made this. I think Tyson made this in regards to a Evander Holyfield fight. So it's a little different because he knew who his enemy was. In corporate headwinds and things like that in the business world, you say like, well, we can plan for the unknown, but by definition, that's just to say we need to have a backup plan because we don't know what the unknown is. We don't know how it's going to hit us. We don't know when it's going to hit us, and we don't know what that means. Planning for the unknown is this weird corporate speak for like, we're going to take it on and we're not going to lose sight and things are going to happen, but that's going to be okay. But when they happen, you will often see someone just sit there and go, I don't know.
We didn't plan for this.
What do we do now? And then, you get, when you have the right person in place, they'll run you in the right direction. When you have the medium person in place, which I've been guilty of, they'll run you in a direction. And then again, maybe
a decision's better than no decision. I fully agree with that.
You get, half a mile down the road and you go, oh, hey, guys, gals, everybody, we're going to adjust. We're going to about face, and now we got to run twice as fast in the opposite direction, but I got it figured out now. That's the medium person. And then the wrong person is, well, I'm just going to sit here and let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's going to come by at some point and tell me something.
They'll force your hand, yeah.
Right. And that's now you're the punching bag. You're getting punched in the mouth over and over and you don't know what to do and you're just sitting there. Well, and that's the worst case scenario.
Look, Mashi, you said it's been a couple of years. If you ever feel need to get back in touch with what it feels like to get punched in the face, I'm sure there's a long list of people who'll be happy to volunteer. Same with me. Long. But on that note, have a good morning.
Have a great evening, Dennis. Enjoy your Halloween.
Hallows Eve, yeah.